Hey everybody, my name is Bianca Antunes. I just transferred into this class. I'm brand new. I'm not brand new to the honors college though. I just transferred into this class this semester. I'm very excited to work with Professor Gorlick. I've had him as a professor before. So hello, I'm back, and I hope everybody had a great winter break. Okay, so let's get started. So the movie that I chose for vlog one was Jumanji. So I've always been a fan of Jumanji in general, like the first movie, which I think came out in 1995. Great movie. It always I was kind of scared of it when I was like a little kid, but like it's funny, you know. And it had Robin Williams, and the acting was great, and it was really dramatic, and it was just overall like a really good movie. So I figured that, I should go ahead and watch the new movie. So I really liked the actors that the new movie had. It had The Rock, it had Nick Jonas, which I was a huge fan of ever since I was like a little girl. So I was like, oh my god, this is so cool that he's gonna be an actor. It had Jack Black, it had Kevin Hart. So a lot of good acting in there. I figured it was gonna be a comedy, because of who was in the movie, and it was. Very funny movie. So it starts off similar to the original Jumanji. It has its similarities and differences. Well, it's similar, like, they find the book and then the video game, and then they start playing the video game, and then they, they get sucked into the video game, and it's these, four kids, and one transforms into Jack Black, the other one transforms into Kevin Hart, the other one transforms into The Rock, and then the other girl, the fourth character, transforms into another girl, which I'm sorry, I don't remember her name because I've never seen her before. But yeah, so it's four characters, and they weren't really friends in real life except for two of them, which were friends when they were little, and then they were kind of like in an argument, so they weren't really friends again. And then, one of them was like nerdy, and the other one's like a football player, so the football player would make the nerdy one do his homework and all that stuff. So they had like a kind of like rocky relationship, so then they end up getting stuck in the game together, and everybody has to put their differences aside and kind of work together in order to save Jumanji. So they get into like this video simulated person's Jeep. Like this person, like he's literally part of the video game, like he can only say like certain lines and phrases that the video game allows him. Unlike the people who, were put into the game new, like they have their same personalities from like their real lives, and they just brought it with them. They're just in like different bodies. So they're all in the Jeep, and they're driving away, like talking, whatever, and they're like, what the heck is going on? Like, because they're scared, they don't know like how to get out, and the video simulated guy, he's like, he tells them like the quest. Like he tells them like, okay, so there's this guy that he's really bad, and he stole the amulet, or the jewel from the mouth of the jaguar, which is like on top of like this giant mountain, and so yeah, so because of that, like Jumanji's like all out of whack, and they need to, basically their challenge is to like get the amulet, I mean the jewel, like to get this jewel and put it back into like the mouth of the jaguar. Okay, so they're just thinking like, okay, it's gonna be easy, we're just gonna like follow this path and we're gonna put it back and that's it. But of course it's not. They only have 3 lives, and every time they die, they fall from the sky again. The first person was Jack Black. He gets eaten by a rhino, and like a bunch of like weird things. So as they go throughout the game, like they figure out their strengths and weaknesses. The Rock has like, all like the strong powers, and like he's like the bravest and strongest. And then, Jack Black is like, he's like a professional map reader. And then the other girl, which I didn't remember her name, she's like a dance fighter, and like her talent is that she can like um not like she can like seduce people and like fight them and like kill them with like karate. And then Kevin Hart, he can't eat cake or something, like something funny, like, and he's like weak also. Okay, so they go through the whole journey and they experience like some troubles along the way. Like for example, like how I had mentioned that Kevin Hart was allergic to cake. They were at a market, and at the market, they were selling like a pound cake, but it was like looks like bread or something. And Kevin Hart, he eats it, and he like loses one of his lives and everything. And of course, like, it's just funny, whatever. But like they're so stressed because you know um they only have 3 lives, and they don't want to know like what happens, like, if they like lose all the lives. So they're in the market, and like the guy who wants the jewel back to put it back, like the one who stole it and like is causing like, the whole problem in Jumanji, um, he sees them, and he's like, because they're like chasing after them the whole time, but like they can never really get them. So then he sees them in the market, and he's like, oh my god, like whatever. So he's like running after them, and then like Nick Jonas, which he's like another name in the movie, he comes out and he's like, oh guys, like follow me. So like they follow him into like this little hole, and like they're like, this is so weird because like Nick Jonas is not acting like the other like simulated people in the game, and like he's giving them like, he's like, okay, wait, stop. And then like they all stop, and like a knife comes out, like he knows like what's gonna happen, like. So um nothing, they go with him, and then they start talking to him, and they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, like I've been stuck in this game, like whatever, for a while, but he doesn't know how long, so keep that in mind. So he's like, oh yes, I'm a pilot, because I'm in the game. And he's like, when going back to the beginning, when the kids were picking their characters before they were taken into the game Jumanji, there was one character that was like it was like unavailable, so that ends up being him in the movie. Okay, so they're talking to him, and then he's like, oh, I'm a pilot, but I'm scared because I've like crashed the stuff, and like I only have 1 life left, and like I don't want to lose it, and like everything. So they're like, oh, okay, we all have to like work together. So like again, everybody puts their differences aside, and they go forth, and like he drives the plane and everything. So finally, when they get to like the next level that Nick Jonas was never able to pass, but he was now because they did it all together. He Okay, so they were kind of trying to figure out like what year he was from, but they didn't really know because like he didn't like really keep track of time. So then he starts saying words like wicked and um like I don't know, like 70s words, I guess. Like he's like, oh, that's wicked sweet, and like all this stuff, which I mean people still use it like now, but like I guess it's like not. So then one of the other kids is like, oh my god, wait. So then they put 2 and 2 together, and Nick Jonas is a kid that had gone missing in their like small town that where they're from, that they thought he was like dead or something, and like his dad like is like all like upset at like what happened and everything because he like never found his son again. That's him, like he's actually not dead or missing, like he's actually in the Jumanji game. So they find out whatever, and then they're like, okay, we really need to like get him home, like whatever. So then they go to they go to they go through all the levels, and like along the way, like, you know some lives are lost and everything, and it's really dramatic, and the music is like doo, 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 doo. Like if you've ever if you've ever seen the real Jumanji, like the actual, it's very similar to that music. It's like the drum music, it's like the same thing, except this one is a little bit more amplified and intense because graphics are better, and they amplify the music. But so finally, like, they get to the jaguar statue, one of them, and they put the jewel, amulet, whatever. They put it into the jaguar's mouth, which is like what, like, they were like fighting with the original guy with, and like that was like the whole thing, and they want to get home. So yeah, so they put the jewel in the mouth of the jaguar, and then they all scream Jumanji because they're all supposed to do that at the same time. And then all of a sudden, Jumanji is back to its regular state, and they're heroes. They did the job like that nobody could do, and then they go home. And the good, like the I guess the lesson of the, not the lesson, but like, they get back to their real lives, like where one of them was like a popular girl, the other one was like a football player, the other one was like a nerd, and like then there's other girl that she was like really uptight and like kind of nerdy also. They all become like really good friends, and like before, like they were trapped, and like before they learned how to put their differences aside, they, like, not that they hated each other, but they just didn't get along that well. And so I thought it was a really cute, neat story. Now, talking a little bit about the myth and ritual in this movie. So just Jumanji, the game itself, it's, a myth. I mean, and getting trapped in the video game until, the video game is completed. I mean, that's not realistic. Like, that's never gonna happen, like, to anybody. Following the path to put the jewel back into the jaguar statue of Jumanji, like, that's not something that's, that's myth also. Having 3 lives, nobody has 3 lives. I mean, if you die, you die. Like, you don't get, like, other chances. I see where that could stand as, like, a metaphor for something else, but, like, it's not, And then having the ability to resurrect from the dead. So in the film, if you lose, someone lost their 3 lives, and then someone else who had 2 lives was able to transfer their lives onto this person, and this person was dead, and they were able to like come back and like be alive again. So that's myth. And then ritual would be the structure of the game, because in the old Jumanji in the old Jumanji movie, it's the same pattern. Like, it's not the same things they have to ward off, and it's not the same setting, but the game itself, like getting trapped into the game, like it's very like ritualistic. And then there's a phrase that they use, trust each other and never blink. That's very ritualistic. They keep repeating it throughout the movie, and like that's what they go for. That's like what they explain. And then when they call out Jumanji all at the same time, that's ritualistic because that's how they get out of the game. Like that's how they complete the journey. And the ritual, like the repetitive nature of the game or level that keeps going on is ritualistic, because obviously the guy who plays Nick Jonas, like he's been going through this for like so many years, for like 30 years, that it becomes ritual because it's just the same. And then returning into the real world after a regular lifestyle once the game is complete is ritualistic. That's also what happened in the old movie. So apparently, Jumanji has a lot of ritual just because since there's an older movie to compare it to, you can see a lot of the similarities throughout the movie. So they're very ritualistic. And overall, like the movie theater experience, like the the theatrics and like the movie theater experience. I went to go see this movie at the Falls movie theater. It was really packed because I guess a lot of people, just as I, wanted to see it. You know, it was 3D, so it made it so much more like poop, you know, like, well, obviously that's what 3D does, but like, you know, it just made it more realistic, and the graphics were incredible. You know, I personally, like, I was very impressed. It felt like you were like actually in the movie because, you know, it had so much, you know, scenic views and everything, and you know, obviously they aren't real, but they did look so real. Like, whoever did that did such a phenomenal job. And the music, you know, that's in the original Jumanji, they incorporated that in the new Jumanji, and it made everything so much more intense. And like, you know, because without the music it's intense, but with the music, like, you just feel more like anxious, like, oh my god, you know, the whatever. So yeah, that was my first vlog. Yeah, so you guys should all go see the movie. I loved it. Okay, bye.